we wanted to look at getting a program started for children with cerebral palsy and spina bifida. So we didn't really know where to start, so we started doing a little bit of research once Owen kind of gave us this new task. So we found out right now that cerebral palsy is the most common type of physical disability in childhood, right? It affects just over 2 children for every 1,000 live births. And some of the symptoms that can start as early as infancy. So they might notice kids not being able to roll over, sit, crawl, or walk as soon as other infants. And then it can also affect their vision, hearing, and make it difficult to swallow and eat even. Then they also might have poor coordination and difficulty speaking. So these symptoms can be apparent in early infancy, and then they often become more obvious as the children age. Here's just a few pictures of the different types of cerebral palsy. So you can be anywhere from being spastic and having almost a scissor-like gait, as you'll notice in the top left picture, to being completely relaxed and no muscle tone, as you see in the hypotonic CP. So we're going to try, and through our training, we're going to learn how to work with all the different kinds of children with CP, and then, as it is with the spinal cord injury, the functional gain would be a little bit different based on each child. So then, after learning about cerebral palsy and spina bifida, we wanted to figure out what can we do. So we looked up and we eventually came across a highly successful program called the TheraSuit method. It was developed by 2 physiotherapists, and it's highly popular all over Europe and Australia, and it's just getting into North America now. We found that this creative approach was exactly the kind of program that we thought could change a child's life. So based on the TheraSuit method, it's very intense for the children. It's 3 hours per day, 5 days per week, for 3 to 4 weeks at a time. So basically, it falls under the same branch as First Steps, where it's based on an intensive specific exercise program, and you're trying to eliminate the pathological reflexes that are already there and establish new correct ones, and increase the functional patterns of movement. So being that you're working with young kids, to have them be able to do therapy for 3 hours at a time is going to be a little bit difficult, but some of the steps that you go through, we're going to start with massaging them and do some fascia release, as you'll see on the picture on the left. Then in the middle, we'll get into some range of motion and strengthening. And then right into some balance and coordination kind of activities, as you'll see on the right. It's just an example. This will be kind of the first half, and we'll give them lots of breaks and time to play and that kind of stuff. And then the second half of their each session every day, they get to go into what is called the cage, for lack of better terms. So you can see in the left, she's attached to a suspension system. This will just help us get more sensory integration and do some weight-bearing exercises without them fully bearing their whole weight. And then they'll be able to get into the actual TheraSuit. And as you'll see right there in the middle and on the right-hand side, the TheraSuit, it's quite constrictive, and doing up the different attachments will help hold their limbs kind of in the direction that they need to go to get a more functional gait pattern and movement pattern. Through the TheraSuit study that was done, they learned that 92% of participants experienced functional improvements, which we think goes right along with where First Steps is at right now with our neuromuscular clients. 90% of them learned to roll independently, 75% to sit without assistance, and 30% to walk with assistive devices. So our goal with this program, since there's no other kind of program reporting such astounding results, that's really what caught our eye. And I guess the biggest stat that we thought, and one likes to talk about too, is they've been able to help children with conditions such as CP and spina bifida learn to relearn movement in as little as 3 weeks, as it would take them without the program to learn in 1 full year. So if they can come to us for 3 or 4 weeks and learn that, and then go back home and keep improving upon that, they can come back another, even a year later or a few months later, and they can learn another task. So in a year with us, they could take something that learn stuff that they might have learned in 3 to 5 years without doing that program. So where we're at, as Owen said 2 years ago, was when he went down to his presentation and had all this time to think. So since October 2014, we've been doing research on the methods and what kind of program we could use. We've been getting prepared for that. On February 29th, this month, till March 6th, we have a specialist coming up from the U.S. to do our training for us. So for 7 days, she's going to come to First Steps and do all the training for all of our staff. And then we are hoping to get the new lease for April 1st, so then we're going to be doing all our renovations, and we're going to be going from 3,300 square feet to 6,600 square feet. So that should give us plenty of room to have this new program have its own space and adapted just for the children. And then we are looking to do our grand opening on June 8th.